What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, recently I made a video on Greg Doucette, and it was more commentary style, and it was received pretty well on the internet. And today we're going to be reacting to a video that Alex Eubank recently posted titled "The Ugly Truth About the Fitness Industry Must Watch." After watching Alex's video, I believe his video is very necessary, and I believe the context of the video is necessary to speak on, and I think it's very necessary for the followers that follow me, that are subscribed to me, that might not be familiar with Alex, to get the context of this video. So we're going to be reacting to a few clips of his video. I'll link his video in the description if you want to see the whole thing. Let's get into it.
Influencer, it's time for me to influence in a positive way. I'm tired of just like sitting on a back seat watching as this stuff changes and me not really being open about it. You guys don't know, I've been doing this shit for 4 years almost, or over 4 years. I started making fitness content December of 2019, I believe. I posted my first workout video, started really gaining traction. 2020 was like the TikTok era. 2020
being an influencer and having to influence. Now, when you hear that term, it has a negative connotation to it, but ultimately, an influencer, you realize that the things that you say, the things that you do, the things that you wear, everything that you do has an impact on the people that follow you, whether it be because they look up to you, they're inspired by you, they're motivated by you. And I have the fraction of the influence that Alex has, but if I can positively influence 5 people, 4 people, even 2 people that follow me in the right direction versus going in the wrong direction, then I'm going to do that with my platform.
And everybody talked to each other. It's not like that as much today. And like we would see, it was like every trip to LA, there'd be like another natural influencer who fell and hopped on steroids. And it was like over time, me and Hattie would be like, damn, bro, like they're dropping like flies. We would go out, there'd be another person we found out who would tell us like, yeah, they hopped on or whatever. We're like, damn, this is weird. Because back then, like in that era of the fitness industry, like 2021 or whatnot, if you were on gear, like it was definitely looked down upon. Like everybody like would be afraid to hop on or be open about hopping on because like it was literally like we're not allowed to really talk about it as much. Like people were just not open about it like that. They were afraid to talk about it because it was looked down upon. I would say it started changing a little bit around like, I don't know, more and more people started hopping on, like I said, and some people started becoming more open about their gear usage, and people were like showing love to that. They were happy that people were being transparent, which I can see and I agree with that. But I feel like it started giving people more excuses to like hop on. And so I remember, I would say after this,
Natty's going enhanced. I mean, that's always been a thing. There's always been talks or questions about people asking me whether I'm Natty, and if I am, would I ever hop on something? So that peer pressure has always been there from the very start. And I have seen people in the industry that maybe weren't as popular when I first started go from being natural to enhanced. But ultimately, the influencers that I've always liked and always followed that are natural, like Jesse James West, like Will Tennyson, or like Alex Eubank, they've remained neutral. And other influencers that have always, as long as I've been watching fitness content, that have always been enhanced, remain enhanced. I honestly think when it comes to Natty's going enhanced, especially if you dive deeper into the realm of bodybuilding, that peer pressure is always going to be there. As soon as I finished my first bodybuilding show, that peer pressure was there because I got 2nd place in 2 categories and then 4th place in the overall. That clearly showed me that the only reason that I lost had nothing to do with my bone structure, had nothing to do with the density of my muscle. It had to do with how big I was. I just was not big enough. And I know for a fact that if I was bigger with the same conditioning, I would have came in first in all 3 of those categories. It's just a fact.
Apart saying this wasn't optimal, this wasn't optimal, you need to do a better angle here, you should substitute this exercise with this one. There's this whole phase of just like basically like everybody's saying you're wrong, this is the only right way. And this is when it started getting a little bit toxic, and like people started to not support each other as much because they started thinking like, oh, if they're not doing it right, I'm gonna go tell them they're not doing it right and they need to do it this way. And everybody thought that they were like a professional. And it was just like really super annoying like phase because like I remember me and Hattie be like, yo, we can't even post like how to grow a bigger chest video anymore or whatever because people are just gonna say, oh, this isn't optimal, this isn't optimal.
Who wants to create content around the thing that they're passionate about and then have somebody come and dissect it? So I get it. I understand it. My only critique comes when those evaluations or those analysis come from people that do not have the proper credentials to critique you in the first place. Now, I am a NASM certified personal trainer, so I have studied and passed an exam to call myself and consider myself a fitness professional. So I personally believe that if you haven't gone through an accredited body to obtain knowledge to critique others, unless you've won awards for bodybuilding or any other criteria, you're not really in a place to critique others. You could critique yourself. You haven't paid your dues. Who gives you that authority? Where does this authority come from for you to critique other people? So I get where he's coming from.
Glorifying steroid use era, and I would say that this started changing in like 2023 to especially now with like just a lot of influencers being on steroids now, being open about it, almost too openly, where some of these guys glorify it. Like, again, this is me not hating on any specific people. I'm not gonna ever blame, get on someone for chasing their bag or whatnot. Like, I get it, I respect the hustle, but it's the people I'm speaking to is y'all consuming the content because you're most likely an impressionable young man. And like, I'll say Togi, for example. He's been popping lately, he's doing amazing for himself, good to him. But when I look at his YouTube and I look at his titles, bro, it's like about hopping on gear, glorifying steroid use. You see his like popular gym edits, it's literally taking like unnatural substances, and those types of content rip. There's a few other guys that I can't really think of their names off the top of my head, but like that type of content has been doing very well lately. And it's like so wild to me seeing this happen because I'm like, yo, if someone would have posted this like 2 years ago, they would have gotten ripped apart for it. But now it's in a sense, it's building their following. It's actually helping.
The glorifying of steroids. I can say firsthand that I have seen a huge change in people glorifying steroids. Now, I am 40 years old and I'm natural and I've always been natural, and this is my current physique. If I can look like this, 40 years old naturally on a bulk, and then I could look like this, 40 years old naturally on a cut, I just don't get why the glorification of steroids is even a thing, unless your whole thing is to just be as big as you possibly can. Because I love my body. Obviously, there are parts of my body I would like to improve on. Like, I would like bigger legs. I wouldn't mind weighing like, another 10 to 20 pounds. Just, it feels good when you're hefty, but I don't want to be a mass monster. I don't want to be a Sam Sulik. And as a 40-year-old man, if I'm going to exhaust every avenue available to me to get to where I want to go naturally, then why the hell aren't you if you're 16, 17, 18 years old? Apart from that, the actual glorifying of the steroids is where the problem is. Now, I know guys that are enhanced. I know guys that are natural. And I don't have a problem with it. To each his own. I believe in the individual freedom to do what you want to do as long as it doesn't hurt or impact others. But the problem is, once you become a fitness influencer and now people want what you want and you're showcasing your physique, you have a great physique, and now you're showcasing the steroids that you're taking. Obviously, young impressionable children are going to correlate the two and say, oh, this guy is 200 plus pounds. He's only 18 years old. Clearly, there's no way you're going to put on that mass naturally that quickly. So I just got to do what he's going to do and hop on steroids. And Greg has already made content around these type of influencers that are like doing tricks with syringes and like just trying to make it seem cool to inject steroids while having a great physique. Natural lifting needs to be glorified. And the IFB, the NPC recently announced natural shows. So I think a good solution for this problem with the glorification of steroids is fitness influencers like Alex Eubank, like myself, like Jesse James West, like Will Tennyson. They should go into the NPC natural shows and show what's capable naturally and make that competitions to look at the natural shows. People are always going to look at mass monsters, but at the end of the day, to see what someone's able to cultivate with their body naturally without any assistance is to me is remarkable. When I see a Natty with a great physique, I'm just like, I just want to give him a round of applause, because it's hard earned.
Your physique is mid, you need to get bigger. The whole concept of what a good physique is has went from here to here at a point where you can only get here by taking steroids and being stupid unhealthy. It's like they glorify this unhealthy look now. And some of these guys are like making a bag off this type of content. And I understand and respect your hustle, but it's the glorification of it. Like these kids who are watching this stuff are like, oh, I want to be like my favorite fitness influencer who's open about promoting hella gear usage. So maybe I should do the same thing so I can end up like them. And the thing is, like, you can take gear healthy, yeah, I'll say that. If you're like C-bone level, you have like all the money to like get the blood work, the doctors, all that. 99% of the people who are probably watching that, who are thinking about doing it, do not have the ability or the connections or the resources to do it in a healthy way. You're gonna do it in a dumbass way where you're gonna take years off your life and ruin your life. And I've seen this happen firsthand, bro. Like, I lived with the twins, and this is not me hating on them, bro. They were my brothers at one point, and like I was with them.
Okay, so that kind of leans into what we just discussed, but just like the physique standards, like it is insane to see what is viewed as the best physiques, like these people that are clearly on drugs, that are like mass monsters. When I was coming up, like the people I looked up to were like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone. I mean, everyone looked up to Arnold, but he clearly was a bodybuilder. But in terms of just physiques, it was always like lean, muscular physiques. It wasn't like these insane mass monsters. And probably a lot of those guys were on stuff back in the day, but it wasn't being promoted. It was still like in a scope where an average person could think that they could obtain it, you know? When you see someone that's 5'8" and they're like 230 pounds, solid muscle, 10% body fat, the average person doesn't look at that and say, oh yeah, I could definitely obtain that naturally. Fortunately, the only way that physique standards could change is by doing what I mentioned earlier. It's like natural bodybuilders need to make it look cool to be natural and have an amazing physique, because there are natural lifters and natural bodybuilders that are out there that have great genetics, great physiques. It's just not being pumped out there as much. And I think it's always going to be a thing of demand. Whatever the people demand and whatever is viewed as cool in the mainstream is always going to be what people want. So,
and it's just not worth it, bro, and it's getting glorified, dude. And it's like me being open about this is me even putting myself at risk, because I already know people are gonna like shit on it and just like pull me apart for it and be like, Alex, you're only ranting or venting about this because you're small, because you're not doing as well, whatever. Like, bro, if you hate me going into this video, if you don't like me, you don't hate me, for whatever reason that is, that's perfectly fine with me. But I actually am worried for the people consuming this type of content that is being glorified, and they're gonna want to be like these people, or they're gonna want to, you know, because they think that it's so glorified and accepted now that it's okay to just openly go and do it, and they're gonna go their hormones up, their whole, I'm sorry for cussing, they're gonna go mess up their whole entire bodies, potentially take years off their life, bro. You look at people who take steroids, look at their before when they're natural, and then their after, even after just a few years, look how fast it ages you and makes you literally kind of look ugly, bro. Like, who wants to look ugly? Like, I don't get it. Like, if that's what it's doing to your external appearance of like aging you, messing up your skin, doing all these things, what do you think it's doing to your internal body that's actually filtering it? Right? Like, it's so not worth it, bro. And I'm tired of people glorifying it and it becoming like a trend to like show the gear you're taking, or to like just be all about, oh, let me just become the most biggest, jacked, strongest like person, like ugly. Like, I just don't get it, bro. I'm not.
all right. So the impact of steroids. I think a good alternative to people that showcase the effects of steroids is if they show the same amount of light and attention and focus to the negative aspects of taking steroids. So it's like, all right, show your physique, show how big you are, show how lean you are, while also being able to lift mass amounts of weights, but also show your disgusting back knee. Also discuss how you have insomnia and it's hard for you to sleep. Also discuss how your balls are shrinking. Also discuss about how it's hard for you to have sex with your lady. Talk about the rage it gives you. Talk about all these things, and then there will be equilibrium there, because at least then whoever's watching it, whether it's a young person or someone my age, they can make an informed decision from the same source. So it's like the same source that's showing you how good it is also showing you how bad it is. And then you as an individual can sit there and weigh the odds and the ends and be like, you know what, I don't think it's for me. Or be like, you know what I want to achieve in fitness and in bodybuilding is so important to me that I'm willing to risk all these negatives to get all these positives. Only in that instance will I think it's okay for some of these influencers to showcase their steroid use. And even then, it shouldn't be shown as a cool thing to like do flips and tricks with your syringes. You're still influencing other people. So again, yeah, if you're going to talk about the good, talk about the bad. You cannot even fathom the consequences of what this is going to have on your life in the future, and you're going to be older a lot longer than you're going to be younger. Your 20s is 1 decade, that's it. You're in your 20s for 10 years and it's a wrap after that. You know, you still got to go through your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s. On average, people are living 80 and more, but like, if you do all this damage in your 20s, you might be shortening yourself by a decade. So keep all that in mind. I do believe that this video was impactful, informational, and it was just necessary. It was necessary, and that's why I decided to react and respond to it. We talked about steroids. Now let's talk about natural supplements that you can take if you're interested in trying to enhance the process. So this is what I'm currently taking from HTLT, aside from like your average pre-workout and post-workout. I'm taking Ecti Builder. So I do the 3 tablets of the Ecti Builder. I do the GO2 Max, so I have a little bit more endurance in the gym, and I recover from the sets quickly, and then the 3 tests to help more my testosterone. Obviously, as you get older, your testosterone takes a dip, so it's important to have some type of supplement to help you. If you do use them, make sure you go on htltsubs.com and use code JesusV. And I encourage all of you guys to see the original video. If you like this video that I just filmed, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, until next time, fuck your insecurities.